Hello Greg-ghouls and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we begin, there's a couple of things I'd like to say, and the first one, I'm very sorry for my hair and the way I look. We are currently having a heat wave here in the UK, so everything is a little tiny bit warm, but I still had to film content just for you. And second of all, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe because I have new videos every weekend and I am well on the way to getting the 4,000 watch hours that I need. So if you could help me on this journey, that would be brilliant. And don't forget to watch some of my other videos, which I will be posting at the end of this. Now, let's get into the video. And I asked you on Instagram to send me your Harry Potter questions, and I was going to answer them as honestly as I could. I have compiled a list and I have all the questions on here that you guys sent to me. So let's jump straight in at question number 1. What job would you have in the Wizarding World? I think if I was in the Wizarding World, I would either have one of two jobs. I would love to teach charms at Hogwarts. Charms is my favourite subject. I think it would just be great to be able to teach sort of the next generation of wizards. And if I couldn't teach at Hogwarts, I think I would just like a really nice simple job like a shop in Diagon Alley, or even just running the ice cream parlour. What is not to love about just being in the Wizarding World? Who is my favourite Death Eater? I mean, do we have favourite Death Eaters? Of course we do. I would definitely go with Bellatrix Lestrange because I think what I really like in a series is a character that doesn't always have to have a tragic backstory or a reason why they're evil. I sometimes love it when people just are born that way, and Bellatrix is definitely wired to be evil. Of course she does kill Sirius, but I think that kind of makes her a really good Death Eater. She just doesn't care. She even kills her own family members and she's just like, ugh, whatever. And I think the fact that she's just obsessed with Voldemort as well, despite how grotesque and snaky he is. She's just a great character, and I think she's a perfect villain that you need in a series just like Harry Potter. What outfit are you most proud of creating? I think the one I'm most proud of is the one that I wore to the opening of Greg-ghouls at the Warner Brothers studio tour. Me and my friend Hannah, we had never made a cape before. I kind of had the whole character in my head of what I wanted to look like, and we went with this idea of a banker who is a wizard at Greg-ghouls, has a lot of money there. What I particularly loved about that costume was printing the Greg-ghouls coins on the inside in gold, so it wasn't just made out of fabric, it was our own printed fabric. Really good learning experience, and I just think the final look really pulled together very well. Funny fact about that costume is I wore it to Greg-ghouls. We were super proud of it, it was great. Only when I got home did we realise that we had not hemmed the bottom. No one said anything, so we'll take it as a win. That question kind of brings us on nicely to how many times have I been to the studio tour? Now, it's kind of embarrassing, I think, to say how many times I have been, but that's been for lots of different reasons. First time I ever went was when it first opened. Me and my friends all went together, and my mum and my auntie took us. Small event, it didn't have all the different areas, it didn't have the forest, platform 9 3/4, didn't have the cafes. It was very different to what it is now. I think the running number is 16 times. I did the behind the scenes, that was absolutely fantastic. Warner Brothers have been kind enough to invite me. Hogwarts in the Snow, the Greg-ghouls opening, quiz night that they held there, and that was really fun as well. So I've been for a lot of different times, but each time is just as magical as the last. I will soon be going back on the 1st of September. Visit number 17. Who would you rather be from the Marauders and the Golden Trio? So from the Marauders, I would definitely be Lupin. I know he's got his condition, but I just think he's the nicest. He's generous, kind, funny, he just seems like a all-round good guy. Golden Trio, I'd probably go for Hermione, just because I'd love to be that clever and just know a spell and be able to do one just instantly. Who is your favourite Gryffindor? I was going to say Lupin, but actually, I think one of my favourite Gryffindors is McGonagall. Always fights what's right, so yeah, I'm going to go for McGonagall. Go McGonagall. Favourite Harry Potter location? A filming location and then an actual place in the Harry Potter world. I think the Great Hall is my favourite. The set for the Great Hall is just incredible. It is beautiful, it's so well made. You're in the Great Hall, it's quite breathtaking when you are there. Quite surreal actually, especially when you watch the earlier films. One of the first rooms at the tour, but I absolutely love it. And every time I go in, I spot something new. In the Wizarding World, I I think my favourite place would be the Ravenclaw common room. I am very biased. I am a Ravenclaw. Great to study in there. Such a Ravenclaw answer. Windows is blue, which is my favourite colour. The stars on the ceiling. Hopefully, I'd be able to get past the eagle asking me the hardest riddles in the world. Do you have any plans for launching merch? Funny you should ask that question, because I actually have a shop now set up called the Greg-ghouls shop on Instagram. Launching my very own set of enamel pins very soon. So if you want to give my page a follow, that's going to have all the details. I'm very excited about what I've created. My logo sorted, I've got the branding sorted. So as soon as I can, I will let you all know when they are available to buy. A little hint that there will be one for every house, and then one very special one as well. I'm really proud of coming up with these designs. I've had a lot of help from a lot of the pin community on Instagram, who are all really lovely people. So I can't wait for you to see them very soon, but know that merch is on the way. I'm also now selling denim jackets, which I'm embroidering, customizing, and if you are interested in a custom jacket, then just send me a direct message and I'll be happy to get back to you. Ugh, here we go. Would you rather spend your whole life with Umbridge or Greyback? I think I'm just gonna have to say Greyback. Maybe if I just buy a lot of steak and just sort of throw it, he might leave me alone a bit. Lifetime with Umbridge, I don't think anyone can deal with that. What is your favourite Harry Potter quote? That is a fantastic question. Now, there are so many quotes from the series. I think the films especially are really good to quote. Me and my friends do that a lot in the weirdest of circumstances. My favourite quote is, "It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." Just a really great quote. Again, Dumbledore just comes out with the best lines. Who would you be friends with in Hogwarts in any era? In Harry's era, I would definitely be friends with Luna. We would be in the forest looking for thestrals, creating banners, fun hats that we could wear to Quidditch games. I would absolutely love to be friends with Luna. I'd like to say that in the Marauders era that I would be friends with Sirius and that sort of gang, but I don't think I would be. I don't like those cocky kind of lads kind of people. So I probably wouldn't be friends with them, but I like to think that I'd probably be friends with Lily. Another era as well, I think Tonks would be great fun to be around. Also from the new era, I would love to be friends with Teddy. I think he's really cool. Again, shares his mum's gift, and he just seemed like a really nice guy from the sort of tiny extract we got in the epilogue. Which of the Deathly Hallows would you rather have? The wand never really interests me. I'm not really a power person. Seeing people that have left this world would be really nice, but I feel like you'd have to grieve all over again once you'd seen the person that has kind of gone. For me, I think the cloak, the fact it looks absolutely amazing, hiding, sneaking up on people, would make the best scare videos ever. What is your favourite shop in Diagon Alley? Wiseacre's Wizarding Equipment. I absolutely love that shop, hence why I made a cosplay for it. What is your Patronus? I've had this question many times since having my Instagram, and I always say the same thing. Pottermore Patronus test, and I got a dolphin. I then took it again and I got fox. I then took it again and I got a horse, I think. Since then, I've taken the quizzes where they have all the questions, and I've had a unicorn. I think I've also had a dog at some point. I think the quiz is not very accurate, I would say. For me, I think Patronuses is animals that you're really close to. I wouldn't say I'm a huge animal person, but I do actually really like foxes. Cute, I like that they stay together, is what I'm quite like with my friends, quite protective. But I also like the idea of like a hare, like Luna's, you know, quite wild, quite free. Would you rather go on a holiday with a hag or on a voyage with a vampire? I think I would go on a voyage with a vampire. Hopefully the voyage isn't too far and most of it can be in the sun. Which Weasley is your favourite? How do you answer this? The Weasleys are all just great, apart from Percy, who's kind of a bit iffy, but you know, he really pulls it back in the end. I love Mrs. Weasley. It's that wonderful, warm, cuddly mum that is just so great for Harry in the series. My favourite Weasley would have to be Fred. The books, his lines always made me laugh. I really loved him as a character. His death just kind of struck me a little bit more, so I'm gonna go with Fred. Oh, and I've just then seen the next question. If you could save one character from the Battle of Hogwarts, who would it be? The first three which instantly come to mind is Fred, Tonks, and Lupin. I would actually go for Tonks, I think. I think Tonks had a lot more to give, whereas Lupin was slightly older. I think Tonks. I would love to bring Fred back, but I can only pick one, I'm afraid. What is your favourite item in your collection? Now, I'm going to do a bit of a Tom Riddle with this, and I'm not going to tell you, but I can show you. It's on a shelf just up here. This golden snitch. I'm going to be doing a video all about this, but these were given to cast and crew who actually worked on Chamber of Secrets. It's a replica that's not quite the same as the Noble Collection one. I absolutely love it, and I managed to bag it for just £50 from someone on eBay. How I did it, I will never ever know. What do you think about the Fantastic Beasts franchise? Fantastic Beasts was really exciting because in the lull of Harry Potter finishing, that's when I made my Instagram, and I think so much interest was generated because Fantastic Beasts was coming out. However, I just don't think it's lived up to the expectations of what I had in mind. Just don't think they did it justice. Some of the characters are a bit lacking in depth. Tina is particularly interesting. I'm a huge fan of Jacob. He just kind of seems like he's more comic relief. Newt is a genius of a character, and it's great to see someone who isn't super muscly, super confident. Newt is quite reserved, he's quite shy, a bit awkward, and I think that's what we need more of from these franchises. I absolutely love Queenie. I think she has so much more to come if we ever do get the final Fantastic Beasts films. Thought she was a really brilliant character, and she seemed to be quite delicate. Overall, I just think it kind of lacks. It looks very shiny, doesn't have the pure magic that I think the original franchise had. I don't really rate David Yates as a director. I think he makes films that are very glossy, very superficial, everything's special effects, whereas the original Potter films, you know, had all those practical effects which just elevate them, visually look more interesting. They have that extra level of detail. It's okay, it's just, for me, it doesn't even touch the Potter series at all. What's one thing from the movies they left out that you'll never ever let down? It probably seems like a really boring answer, but I'm actually really upset they left out the whole Spew storyline. I think that really showed Hermione wasn't just this extremely clever girl, who is courageous as well, but she actually was changing the Wizarding world for good. Things that people like Ron, who's from a Wizarding family, just took for granted. I guess it wouldn't have flowed very well with the film, I don't know, but I think it could have just added an extra layer of depth to Hermione's character. But it also has to be said that Goblet of Fire I love as a film, but compared to the book, just misses out so much content, like the monsters in the maze. People change in the maze. What does that even mean? Which do you prefer, the Warner Brothers tour or the Wizarding World theme park? It's one I have thought about quite a lot because people have asked me this before, and it's a hard one because the theme park is very immersive. It's almost like you're in the Wizarding World. It's very surreal when you're there, whereas the tour is more of a, not museum, but it has that museum aspect of looking at things, seeing things, but it's not as though you're in the environment. For me personally, I think I actually do prefer being at the theme park in Diagon Alley. But saying that, the tour, when you walk into the Great Hall, is just, like I said before, completely breathtaking. I think they are separate things, but for me, I'm gonna go with the theme park in America. When did you begin your collecting, and what item started it all? Originally, I was 5 when the first film came out, but I wouldn't say I started collecting then. I was always a big fan, but becoming a serious collector, I don't think happened until probably about 5 or 6 years ago. There was a huge list of things that I wanted. Dumbledore's pocket watch, I've got Dumbledore's wristwatch, the golden snitch, which I showed you earlier. They're just some of the things that I've managed to find. I think for nostalgic reasons, I do prefer the older items, but just finding rare things is my favourite, and eBay is always my favourite place to go. I think what started it all was definitely Dumbledore's pocket watch. I saw that I wanted this, and I actually got it for my 18th birthday. We kind of have this thing in my family where your 18th and your 21st should be like a special item. So getting Dumbledore's pocket watch was definitely special. Who is your HP crush? Hermione. I remember having the biggest crush on Emma Watson. Her in Order of the Phoenix with her cute little jumper. Also, I was really obsessed with Luna as well. I don't know, there's just something cute about Luna, I think, especially when she's a bit kooky and when she's wearing her Slughorn dress and she's just kind of a bit ditzy. Yeah, I just think that's absolutely brilliant. This is a question that I was dreading. Hermione or Drarry? Really don't like fan fiction. I hate ships. I hate things which go against the story. Hermione would never ever go with Draco. Draco would never get with Harry, but that's not the question. I would go for Hermione. Charms or Transfiguration? Charms, I think. Charms would be my favourite area of magic. I think it would be really interesting to change the characteristics of an object. I also like the idea of like protective charms. Transfiguration always sounds really difficult, and I don't think I could do the whole animagus thing and having to keep that leaf under my tongue for a whole moon cycle. That is just never gonna happen. Would you rather go to Honeydukes or Fortescue's ice cream parlour? Well, in this current weather, I would rather go to the ice cream parlour because, as you can see, it is boiling here. All I want to do is eat ice cubes, eat ice cream, and chill out. But I think I would go with Honeydukes just because they have so many of the different sweets. And I could always try some ice mice to cool me down. Do you feel that Cursed Child really is canon? Before any of you say it, I have seen the play. First preview of the show, J.K. Rowling was in the audience. To see the show is incredible. Stage effects are brilliant. Soundtrack, the costumes are exceptional. However, the story I find atrocious. Do not like the mixing of timelines, alternate realities. I hate the trolley witch Voldemort would get with Bellatrix. That just seems completely illegitimate and dumb. Harry takes his son aside to tell him it doesn't matter what house you're in, but don't worry, the Sorting Hat will take your decision into account. All his son wants to do is be in Gryffindor, and he gets put in Slytherin. I'm sorry. That makes no sense. Ron just felt quite redundant in the whole thing. Draco having another time turner. I always interpret it as Rita Skeeter's really bad fan fiction. So she releases that in the Wizarding world as a kind of ha ha ha, imagine if this happened. For me, I can't accept it as canon. Last question is, would you prefer to go to Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley? Reading the books, I always thought that Diagon Alley had a bit more of a sentimental value and just a lot more magic about it. I think the idea of getting your wand, exploring, I always loved the chapters where Harry was in Diagon Alley. A huge part of my childhood was the Chamber of Secrets video game, and in that game you actually get to explore Diagon Alley, and it was one of my favourite things about the game. I would definitely say Diagon Alley. It's only a proper trip to Diagon Alley if you get a butterbeer in the leaky cauldron. I'm definitely going to be doing another one of these videos because I've had a lot of fun. Maybe you disagree or you agree with some of the answers that I gave, but I would love to hear what you think, so don't forget to comment below any thoughts that you have. Now all that's left for me to say is, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and you can check out more of my videos here or here. Hopefully you are staying a bit cooler than I currently am, but don't forget to stay safe, stay magical, and don't let those muggles get you down. Until next time, I will see you all very soon. Bye.